Dear friends, welcome to this week's edition of the Inspired Parsha. And like every Parsha in the Torah, there's so many beautiful, rich ideas, especially in the Hasidic world. But I just want to focus on one pasuk, one verse. This is in Genesis chapter 28. The verses go on to talk about, in verse 16, the famous story of Jacob's ladder. This story is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful stories in the entire Torah. There's so many rich ideas. What was exactly going on? What were those angels ascending, descending? What was going on? There was the allegory. How do we apply it into our everyday lives? So many beautiful ideas, but I really just want to focus on one. The order of the pasuk, the verse, is a little bit wrong. It says that the angels first, it says, ascended to heaven. They went up the ladder, and then it says they descended from heaven to earth. It doesn't make sense. So wouldn't you would think, what would happen? What happens first? Angels, of course, come from heaven, so they descend first, and only then they would ascend back up. So why does the Torah say that they first ascended from earth and went up to heaven, when the order should have been different? So Tiferes Shlomo, the Radomsker Rebbe, says something beautiful. He says that what these angels represent is they represent our spiritual aspirations. There's a well-known portion in the Talmud which says that whenever we do a mitzvah, we create a new angel, so to speak. There are spiritual aspirations, our striving to get closer to the divine. So it starts from the ground up. It's actually, the way to do it is that we first ascend. We first have to go up to heaven, so to speak, through yearning, through wanting to get closer to God, wanting to get closer to Hashem, doing the mitzvos. And then, of course, God descends, so to speak. Then God comes down and meets us halfway, so to speak, and say, I also want to have a relationship with you. So we first ascend, and only then, after we ascend to heaven, God, so to speak, comes down and descends to us. That's why it's ascending first, and then it's descending. Lubavitcher Rebbe says something beautiful. It kind of adds on a little bit to this idea. In Genesis 28, verse 16, when Yaakov Avinu, Jacob, woke up after this dream, he says, I didn't know God was here, but surely God's presence is here. What does that mean? Yaakov came from a completely holy environment, at least for a while. He studied in yeshiva of Shem Ve'ever, and grew up in Yitzchak's house. And yes, part of his life, though, was also around people that were not holy, so to speak, which, like Lavan, for instance. But he believed you have to be in a place of holiness. You have to be in a yeshiva. You have to be in the presence of a tzaddik, so to speak, in order to have Kedusha, holiness, come. But now he saw that we can ascend to heaven, so to speak. We can, through our yearning, through our desire to get close to God, we can come up to heaven, and then God, so to speak, comes down to us. The holiness, the Kedusha, can descend to us. We don't have to be specifically in a holy place. We can bring holiness everywhere we go. We can ascend to heaven, so to speak, anywhere that we go, and God in turn will descend down to us. Of course, it's ironic that Lubavitcher Rebbe was the one who said this, because he was the one who brought Kedusha, holiness, to the four corners of the earth. So it sort of fits who he was. But I want to always end. I always try to end with a bracha, a blessing. Wherever we go in life, we have the opportunity to bring Kedusha, bring holiness to that area. We have the ability to ascend to heaven, and God in turn will descend to us and bring the holiness with him as well. I want to wish everyone here a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.